Stranger Things, Season 1 was truly a perfect series. Reviewers couldn't find even one thing wrong with it. Compare this to the recent Stranger Things Season 5, which people have called the worst thing that they have ever seen in their lives, in which memes mocking the series are more fun than the series itself. Let's explore how Stranger Things eventually lost its way from an amazing TV show into the extremely predatory Netflix agenda-pushing land. Firstly, what made the original so damn good? Being released in 2016, Stranger Things was simply great storytelling at its peak. The plot itself just made you want to keep watching. The plot unfolds like a self-contained movie, focusing on Will's disappearance. Suspense builds gradually through small-town secrets and unpredictable dangers, keeping viewers guessing. No one felt safe, from early deaths like Benny to Hopper's lab raid, heightening real tension, with most of the reviews stating, Stranger Things is exactly what it intended to be, maybe more. It's a legitimate, validated story with quality filmmaking. Stranger Things succeeds because it's not just getting by on pop culture references, it's also working to subvert them in smart ways. This is due to the series' most significant impacts was its revival of 1980s fashion, music, and aesthetics in modern culture. Songs like Kate Bush's Running Up That Hill and Metallica's Master of Puppets re-entered the charts decades after their original release. Thanks to Stranger Things, many rediscovered the films, music, and video games of the era, with comments saying, Season 1 felt like a true 80s product, not in your face at all. It was basically a perfectly packaged season of television that could have stood by itself. This made people obsessed with the show, resulting in its crazy instant commercial success that made it Netflix's defining multi-generational franchise. In addition to being the highest-rated season of the series on Rotten Tomatoes, sitting at 97%. Stranger Things Season 1 won the 2017 Screen Actors Guild Award, AFI Award for TV Program of the Year, People's Choice Award for Favorite Sci-Fi TV Show, and Primetime Emmy Awards. Season 2, 3, and 4 performed just as well. They all achieved massive success on Netflix, breaking records and boosting the platform's popularity. Season 2 premiered in October 2017, drawing 15.8 million US viewers for its premiere episode over the first 3 days according to Nielsen data. It averaged 8.8 million viewers per episode in that window and reached about 14.07 million adults 18 to 49 within 35 days, ranking as a top Netflix original at the time. Season 3 set Netflix records with 40.7 million household accounts watching in the first 4 days and 18.2 million completing the season. Season 4, split into 2 volumes in 2022, shattered records with 287 million hours viewed in its first 3 days for Volume 1. Volume 1 alone amassed 781 million hours in 17 days and over 1.35 billion total across the season's first 28 days, making it Netflix's second most popular English TV series ever behind Squid Game. Season 5 outperformed Seasons 2, 3, and 4 in Netflix's updated metrics, achieving the biggest English-language TV premiere ever with 59.6 million views in its first 5 days. However, the key difference between these seasons is the hate that Season 5 received. The biggest slap in the face was Will coming out, which is confusing because the Duffer Brothers have made it clear that Will was gay since Season 1. The coming out scene was a slap in the face to the gay fans that they've strung along since the early seasons. The minimization of Will's love for Mike and him coming out to a room full of random strangers is insane. I hope the Duffers never get to write a show again. This show was once about mystery, fear, childhood innocence, and the quiet terror of the unknown, a third person chimed in and said. It was about storytelling, not messaging, not lectures, not forcing modern ideologies into a universe that never needed them. And yet, in its final stretch, that's exactly what it became. The season is hated for so many reasons, it's hard to even keep up, at which every reason why it's hated is valid. Critics say the show has lost the magic and tight writing of its first season, becoming a parody of itself. The initial mystery and unknown aspects of the Upside Down and its creatures were more effective than the later over-explanation. Moreover, the acting was just awful, prompting such reactions from the community. It's so unfamiliar. I don't feel like they are connected, and the dialogue is pretty corny. David Harbour is usually one of the best actors on this show, and his lines were making me literally cringe. I'm a tried and true Jopper shipper, and they're butchering that too. I'm secretly glad I didn't let myself get too excited for this. We've been watching the series over again, and seeing the differences so readily isn't helping Lowell. The writers are allergic to killing off any characters that the audience likes, leading to a lack of genuine danger and impactful moments for the main cast. New characters are introduced only to be killed off, making making their deaths predictable. The writers went on to explain why the show's finale avoided a Game of Thrones-like bloodbath. In the writer's room, you go over and it's not just character deaths. I mean, you explore everything. Because why wouldn't you? As much as possible, you want to explore every possible avenue in terms of where the season and the show could go, and you try to land on what feels right. I mean, the percentage of time spent talking about death and the deaths of characters is really small, you know? Because that's not what the show has ever been about. It's an adventure, coming-of-age story. We could have definitely killed some people. It's just not what we want to do, and it's not, to me, what the show is or what the show is about. I think when we were looking at the various finales of long-running shows that landed the plane, the ones that did it the best really just stayed true to what they were. And so, whatever the noise is or bloodlust, at the end of the day, you have to go, no, we need to be true to what Stranger Things is and always was from season 1 on. You go through every character and you talk about it, and we did that exercise. And once you go through that, you realize that it was wrong for the show and the story and these characters and this coming-of-age story that ultimately we're telling. Moreover, it was hard to watch because it has abandoned its horror roots and leaned heavily into soap opera dramatic writing. The Upside Down is no longer a threat, with characters moving freely without fear and frequently stopping for pointless and poorly timed dramatic conversations. You know how the Fast and the Furious movies started with LA street racing and turned into Vin Diesel in space? The jump from S1 to S5 feels kinda like that. Other posts like this stated, "The feel and vibe of seasons 1 to 2 were so mysterious and gave that perfect horror vibe story that I wish they stuck with." After season 3, it just felt like it switched genres from a small-town horror thriller series to just action. Especially season 5, it was basically non-stop action. I personally feel like they could have kept the season 1 vibe and made the show itself about different groups of people and their interactions with the Mind Flayer and Upside Down, instead of focusing on the main group slowly turning into a sweeto action thriller. Hell, Nancy turned into Rambo. The overarching plot, particularly with Vecna, feels incredibly convoluted and was clearly not planned from the beginning. The show introduces major retcons, such as a massive wall around the Upside Down that was supposedly there the entire time, and frequently ignores its own established world-building rules. Comic Book established an article with a couple of those very questionable retcons. For better understanding, they go back to explaining the plot of season 1. The entire ticking clock hanging over Stranger Things season 1 was finding Will Byers and rescuing him from the Upside Down before he was mauled by Demogorgons or ran out of food and water. The terrain stayed barren throughout the following seasons, and yet, the final battle against Vecna sees 11 jumps into a sensory deprivation tank to battle Henry Creel on the psychic plane. That tank is located in the upside-down version of Hawkins' lab, so the fact that there's still water inside it is a changing of the rules at best and a logistical error at worst. The season's 10-plus hour runtime is filled with phony drama and big moments that leave no genuine impact. There are too many characters and plot lines that go nowhere, taking away screen time from the core group. The problem is not that Stranger Things goes big. It always has. The problem is that it no longer knows when to stop talking. The writing this season often feels messy and over-explained. Characters repeatedly spell out emotions and motivations that the audience already understands. We see this most clearly in the finale, where swelling music underscores multiple back-to-back monologues that would have been far more effective as conversations. 2 speeches about sacrifice do not land harder than one honest exchange. Many dramatic scenes feel out of place, such as the fight between Dustin and Steve, which served only to reveal a secret room, and a Twilight-level love triangle that goes nowhere. Will's coming out scene felt incredibly forced and unearned, and dragged on unnecessarily. Moreover, spending too much time on Vecna's backstory and trauma humanizes him and makes him seem a lot softer and less scary, undermining his role as the main villain. The final straw was the finale's battle. It was short, lacked character injuries or death, and featured a worst on-screen character death of all time for 11, which simultaneously kills and keeps her alive, allowing viewers to choose their preferred outcome. This approach avoids challenging the audience and prioritizes viewership over storytelling.